Okay, welcome everybody. I'm just waiting on our episode 5 Calizari System Survival to load, and there we go. Well, once again, welcome to Calizari System Survival episode 5. Today I'm not sure what we're going to be doing, aside from watching a lovely meteor storm getting taken care of by our Gatlings. Excellent. But been giving it some thought, and these pirates are just too close. At least this one over here, the ore handling facility. I'm thinking we're going to have to deal with that one. This one's, it's 19 kilometers away, so we'll get to it eventually, but this one's a little bit too close for Vikings. And as I mentioned last episode, I believe there is actually some ice over that way, and we will be needing ice in order to be able to launch ourselves off into space. Potentially don't need it right this moment, but if we can clear those pirates out of the road, the sooner the better. Now, last episode, if you recall, we converted our scripts over to using Tim, and I think we might need to put some monitors in just so we can see what Tim is doing. Okay. What do we need? Some interior plates. Hey. Oop. And I don't have any. Excellent. Now I'm sure some of you have actually played the game since the latest minor release that occurred on Friday. Well, for me it's Friday, Friday, over that period of time there. The good news is they've actually fixed a couple of things that was really quite annoying. For example, when you access the control panel of a particular item, let me just get rid of that, access the control panel, it was not taking you directly to that item, which once again we're taking us straight to the item we're currently selected, which saves a big headache anyway. That's just one of the fixes that they brought in, one that I think is very, very good. Now, do we want wide or do we want standard? Okay, let's just go with a couple of standards over here and a couple of wides there. That might help. Now, computer displays and bulletproof glass. Computers. Let's see how that will go. Construction components, yeah, nearly there. Okay, we need some more displays. We need a lot more displays. Well, that's nice of it. It actually could tell that we needed more displays. Thank you, Tim. Excellent. Now, what shall we display here? For starters, we need a nice big display for components. 1 by 2. Actually, we can even take them a bit bigger, I think. That'll... And over here we need... Let's start with our ore. Now we will eventually check our quotas for all of these, and potentially we'll be modifying some of those quotas as well, because the default quotas are all very good. Good. But they may not suit our actual need. Okay. Actually, looks like we've got a nice selection of things at this stage, but can certainly use more. Oh, lovely sight. Meteors out the window. Now, where's our gunship? I'm thinking we may go and just take care of this. At least knock its antenna out so it can't send drones to us. We can take care of the actual base itself as time and resources permit. But for now, I think we might attempt to actually take out its antenna array. And there we go. 2, 3 targets. Now, is that over the mountains or is it actually this side? Welcome, Geo Watson. Honestly, I don't know whether it's only PC game only. I do play it on the PC myself. Ooh, overshot. That's just my preferred media. A lot of people play consoles. I actually prefer to use a PC for all of my gaming. So yes, I'm actually playing this on PC. Feel free to check out the Space Engineers website. Keen Software House is the actual producer of it, or you could check out the Steam Workshop site for more information about the actual game. Come on, get down. Where's it gone? I think it must have gone down. Yeah, like I was saying, I actually don't play console games through standard just dedicated game consoles. I actually play all of my games on PC. So I can't tell you for certain whether it's a PC only game or whether it's actually got console variants. But yeah, Keen Software House is the developer. Check out the Steam Workshop or the Steam site for it. They'll have more information about it. Alright, well that's... let's just get rid of that while we're here. Ooh, come on, there we go. All I can tell you is that it's a very fun game. I've got logged, as far as some people are concerned, probably way too many hours on this game. If you like building things, the creative side of it is awesome. But likewise, slow down. If you like the challenge of building things up, mining the ores, refining the ores, building the items and components, putting those components together into structures, whether it be spaceships, whether it be land vehicles, you can build cars, buildings, then it's a lot of fun, especially if you enjoy a space environment, which I will admit I do. I'm very much into space games, whether it be Space Engineers, Kerbal Space Program, even the up-and-coming Chris Roberts mega game, Star Citizen. I'm a backer of all of these games. Very much enjoy space games. I find they're a lot of fun. Okay, well, that's our task for that base. We've knocked out a 10 tenner, so there should be no further drones coming from this particular pirate base. We'll deal with the actual pirate base itself in a later stage. But for now, we can survey. In fact, while we're here, slow down you. We might as well check out these ore deposits, these stains here, which represent ore underneath the ground. We might as well check these out. Let me just kill our momentum sideways. There we go. Let's just go and see what actually these ores are, because iron is quite essential. We need a lot of iron. In fact, iron's probably the most essential resource that we can... Hey, well, that was a bit silly. Come back here. I'm gonna die. Oh look, I just died. Welcome to my first death. Oh no. Where is that? I don't know that base. We won't go there anyway. We'll go back to our base. Well, there you go. All the lucky viewers at the moment have actually witnessed my first death in this survival game. Now, we need to find hydrogen tank. Do I have a spare? Oh, yes, one. And now we need to go and recover our ship. Where did that go? Yeah, gunslinger. Well, it's still alive. I'm not, but it is. That's the joys of mistakenly or inadvertently ejecting oneself out of one's ship in mid-flight. Yes, you tend to plummet to the ground, especially if you don't engage your jetpack fast enough and leave inertial dampeners turned off. No, oh, there it is up there. No amount of pressing on the keyboard is going to actually help you out. Now, somewhere down here there should be my backpack. Yes. Not a total loss. We can recover all of our tools. Now I do, as you can see, I've now got double the amount of tools. I do actually have in the game settings, I do have it set to respawn me with tools, just in case I cannot access my remains, my backpack, and I lose those tools. It saves me having to build new tools at my base, just in case I don't have the resources to be able to do that. I will start with a new set of tools each time I respawn. Hopefully I won't be respawning all that often. I'm not a big fan of dying like that. So let's just put ourselves back inside our ship. There we go. Now, I was trying to go into third person, not eject myself from the ship. Now, somewhere down here, we were going to... I think there's an ore detector on this ship. Oh, don't tell me this ship has no ore detector. Control panels... Yes, we have an ore detector. Then why is it not detecting ore? I had to double check my key presses then. Iron, that's exactly what I was looking for. For fear of I was going to eject myself from the ship again, going into third person. Now, where was that iron? I just saw it pop up on the screen. There you are. How far? 36 meters. 35. No. That's good. Closer still. Although I'm thinking that's about as close as we're going to get to it. We actually just bumped the surface, but... Alright. Let me just move a little out of the road. Oh, cool. It's auto lock. Jump out of here. Are you sitting on top of my deposit? No? Good. Good. That's close enough anyway. Let's just mine some of this. Always do this somewhat iron. And 20 odd meters is not all that far. Oh, give me some lights. There we go. What else have we got here? Silicon. Oh, that's 4 kilometers away. That's not me. Well, that's not here, I should say. Where's our red ore? There it is. Honestly, Keen, I'm 33 meters under the soil. I don't think the grass would have followed me down. Yeah, I'm just clearing a bit of a space so I can actually see what I'm doing whilst I'm mining. I find it's probably the best way. There we go. We can see where our deposit is, and yes, it does progress further. Just. We're on the edge of it by the looks. Yeah, right on the edge of it. That's alright. As long as we can access it, that is the important thing. Now, anybody who's potentially watched the previous streams will notice I've actually changed the save game name. It's not actually Extreme Survival. Although, to some people it may seem extreme, it's actually not an extreme environment. Yes, we get a lot of meteor storms. Yes, there's 3 pirate bases, but the easy start bases, and they call them easy, they come within range of 3 pirate bases as well, only one of which actually attacks you within sensor range. Whereas I did start this scenario out such that you were sitting in a bit of a safe space between all 3, and you could engage when you were ready, rather than actually having them just constantly sending drones to attack you. So I thought it'd be more appropriate to remove the extreme from the title. It is just a Calizari system, custom system called Calizari system, and it is a survival game. So, although there is some surprises in store, I'm looking forward to finding or getting to the monolith on Mars. But I'm also looking forward to seeing if I can track down, and yes, I know I placed it there, but it's still going to be difficult to track down, the companion to the monolith, what they call the stereolith, which is residing on the moon of this planet. I know pretty much roughly which quadrant of the moon it's in, but it's very difficult to find its exact location because of the lack of discerning features to actually triangulate or locate your position on. So somewhere up on, which you can't see at the moment, that body up there, there is this big solid black monolith. Let's just turn ourselves over. There we go. Which in the actual game, well, what am I talking about? This is the actual game. When you first get the game, there is actually an achievement you can get for getting close to the monolith and stereolith. I have actually found that, fortunately, but I just like the whole concept there, the homage to, the subtle nod, if you will, to 2001, with the monolith and, like I said, the companion stereolith. Oh, go away. So I thought I would include them in my custom game as well, just for additional purpose, if you will. I've also sat them on some pretty big resource deposits of some very handy resources. One of them is essential once you get into space. It's any person who's played the game will actually know platinum is not something you will actually find on the planets. So getting into space, we're going to have to use some other means, generally hydrogen, because of course atmospheric thrusters won't get you into space. There's no atmosphere up there. So we use hydrogen to get into space, and it's only once you're in space and you've got the opportunity to explore asteroids that you will find platinum, and from platinum you can create ion engines, which are just your major space engines. Gee, Watson, no, I haven't been into space with this particular game at this stage. I have certainly been into space with many other games, games in this Space Engineers. I've got several save games and several different scenarios, custom scenarios I've built, game scenarios I've played, and yes, I have made it into space. I've also played around with the creative side of it, which lets you just start pretty much anywhere and build anything. You don't have to build it up. You don't have to mine, you don't have to process and refine, you don't have to build components. You can literally come into your tool menu here. You can say, I want a big reactor. You select your big reactor, you click, and you've got a big reactor. It's just like any creative game. It bypasses all the, what some people would call the tediousness of the actual constructing. But I find that can be fun as well. I have a private survival game at the moment where it's actually this exact same scenario, believe it or not. I like the scenario so much. But I'm actually building a gigantic big elevator. Well, more accurately, it's a gigantic big core solid post with a automated welding rig attached to it, which is automatically I should say, building itself into space. At this point in time, the tower I've got in that game is 10 kilometers above the surface. Now space begins at 40 kilometers. That's when you run out of atmosphere and you're outside of the gravity well of the planet. Is at the 40 kilometer mark above the surface. My tower in my other game is currently at the 10 kilometer mark, building away quite happily all by itself, although it does take several million steel plates to do so. I have got some phenomenally big mining platforms that is mining some of these resources, including this one. And speaking of which, before I get distracted, we need to mark this location, because we will be building 30 metres down. We will be building a nice big mining rig over top of this at some later stage, so we can pull these resources. Delete that. We can pull these resources out post haste very quickly. Well, of course, once we get down past the stone layer. I don't mind. There we go. We've got 30 or nearly 30 metres of stone to get through before we can get to that. Now that will be three drill head changes on my drilling platform. But once we get past those three drilling platforms, drilling stages, then we'll be able to pull out several hundred, if not several thousand, or potentially even millions of kilograms of iron ore for processing. Which, that's when the fun really begins, because then you can build and build and build some monstrosities. Now we're going to need a rather large vessel, I think, to be able to get us into space. We will potentially have to also put what's called a jump drive. There's another iron mine over there, that's right. We will put a jump drive in this vessel. That way we will be able to very rapidly traverse the distances between this particular planet and the other two planets that are up there, the Hoth ice world and its alien moon, and the Mars planet, which I'm looking forward to getting to the Mars planet, to be perfectly honest. I'm looking forward to highlighting that. It is a beautiful gem of a planet that you can get on the workshop, the Steam workshop for this game. It's probably it is the closest. Oh, slow down. I think it's probably the closest any person can actually get to stand on Mars without actually flying to Mars. Very, very nicely rendered, very nicely created, making use of all topographical maps and textures that have been retrieved from the Mars rover at the present, so they are the most accurate texture maps and topographical maps of Mars. So it's really quite a sight to see. Hopefully you'll enjoy seeing it too once we get to it. Now we've got a bit of time, bit of a ways to go before we get there. We've got to get up and running with some mines. We've got to get a whole stack of resources, at least sufficient to start building a large ship to be able to get us into space. Now, initially, as I said, we'll have to start with hydrogen thrusters, which, yeah, they're not too bad. They take a lot of ice. We will need a lot of ice. Once we can get into space, however, then we can potentially put a little, like a midway station, lock that up, midway station on an asteroid out there, and that will allow us to be able to launch off from there to another location. There's no exact effects at that height, like winds and stuff, no. Lack of oxygen, definitely. Once you get up above, really, from what I've found at least, above about 7 or 8 kilometre mark, the low oxygen up there does actually have an impact on health. If you notice down the bottom left hand corner, in our HUD, you've got the little plus sign next to the green bar, that is our health. Low oxygen will actually affect that, and you will actually have your health starting to disappear. So you will need to carry oxygen tanks so that you can charge your suit with oxygen and close the visor, of course. Oh, that reminds me, my visor is closed. Let me just open that. We don't need that at the moment. Now, see if we have a look. Whoa, there we go. That's our visor is open, and that's with our visor shut. So, no, I don't want to crouch. Although, why not? Hello, greetings. You also have a reduced gravity. At the 10 kilometre mark, you're sitting at a 0.74 G. So, jumps a little bit higher, things like that. A lot of fun. In fact, I had a lot of fun jumping off the tower just with my own jetpack, which you can see on the back of me here. Oh, back and front. If we turn our jetpack on, we can come up, we can lay over, and we can face the ground, just like that. I did that on the space platform, put myself over the side, and then I turned off what's called inertial dampeners. Now, inertial dampeners is what holds me in the air. You can see it down the bottom left-hand corner there as well. next to our speed. If we turn that off, nothing can keep me in the air anymore. So I'm under the influence of gravity now. I can thrust up, but if I stop thrusting, gravity pulls me back down, as you can see. So it was really nice. Well, actually, it was a lot of fun. Turn that back on. Facing the planet like in free fall position, and then turning my inertial dampness off. So I was free falling from space, well, from 10 kilometers up at least, and it gave me the same sort of rush. I had to re-engage my inertial dampness and my jetpack when I got to about a little bit under 2 kilometers up, and it was able to actually bring me to a dead stop about 300 meters from the surface. So yeah, you don't want to misjudge that too much, because you will come down very, very hard. So yes, a lot of fun. Hang on, my displays are over here now, aren't they? And we've got more meteors. Here we go. Look at that. No, ice. Still got a ton of ice. Wow, you processed that iron pretty quickly. And what have we got? Steel plate. Only got 3.7k. I don't actually have a salvage ship, so I can't actually go and salvage anything at this stage. I guess I could build one. So I'm not sure that that facility is actually fully disarmed yet. That's it. Let's go and knock the facility right out. Oh, hang on. No, I won't. We've got some salvage up there. Oh, we've got our new grinding pit, haven't we? I had almost completely forgotten about that. Getting back to in regards to the tower, heading up to space. No other effects, no swaying or anything like that in the tower, which is a bit of a shame, but you wouldn't want to suffer from vertigo at that sort of height anyway. So it is very nice. Looking over the side, you can actually see the curve of the horizon of the planet. That's all fine, that's all fine. Right, welcome to the pre-built control tower, by the way. As you can see, we've got a map of the actual base. This is actually an active map. Any damage taken to the base will actually show on this map. In fact, we can even highlight that. Let's just do this. Come on. Hey. Unless I don't have it turned on. Do I have it turned on? Floor plan. Yep, it's on. Obviously it doesn't detect it unless we actually talk it right out. Ta-da! We can see we've got a missing block. So, I suppose I should put that back. Now the beauty of it is I just ground down 25 blocks, 25 steel plates. One is used to place the framework back in, another 24 to finish building back up, so there's no actual loss of resources. And if you notice here, as soon as we replace the block, it now no longer is displayed as red. So it's quite a handy little feature, this one, called floor plan, and again it is available on the workshop as well. These scripts over here, these displays over here are generated from a script. I think I may mention it in episode 1. Generated by a script called Automatic LCDs 2 by a user by the name of Mmaster. Mmasters. I can never remember. Automatic. By Mmaster. There we go. So I had it right the first time. Very, very handy scripts that you do some pretty amazing things with LCD panels just by putting a tag like this on it, and then we can write, as you can see, amounts of Gatlings, amounts for missiles, in ammunition. I can do an inventory listing of all containers and look for ammo, and it will actually give me a nice formatted display here on the screen. And power, ore, ingots and components. There's a lot of other stuff you can do as well, but now that I'm also running Tim, as you can see, is also giving us some displays, although that display, control but not that one, we need to make you bigger so we can see it. Hey, that's better, now we can read it. So Tim also does some pretty cool displays, different quotas. Tim is the one that's actually controlling all of our refineries and our assemblers, so the Tim quotas are actually more accurate than any of the quotas. These ones here, these ones down here, as displayed by automatic LCDs. They're just some arbitrary values. Well, I suppose they're not that arbitrary. They're some values that our master took from the community and added into his scripts as maximums. They're not exactly quotas, they're just ideal figures to have on a base or in a setting, whereas these are controllable quotas. We can actually adjust these quotas if we wish. In fact, we can do that very easily by coming into one of these LCD panels. I only just learnt this recently myself actually. Quota for ingots. Okay, now I don't know why the quota for ingots actually gives me everything, components as well, but what we can do is we can come back in here and under the text information we can find the ingots. There they are, and let's say we actually want a higher percentage quota for uranium. We actually don't want it to be just 0.1, we want it to be 0.5. So we just simply change that text there, and believe it or not, that will change the quota. It actually rereads that text back into itself and adjusts its internal quotas accordingly. So now if we come over and show the inventory for ingots, we'll now see that the quota for ingots, uranium I should say, is now higher than it was. It was like a lot smaller than I can't remember what it was, to be perfectly honest. Shocking, isn't it? Okay. Well, I hope you can get fast enough computers for it, because the physics engine behind Space Engineers is really quite accurate in a lot of respects. It's a very good physics system that it utilises, especially when it comes to gravity and even just the interactions of objects. So I hope you can help out. It can help you out there, bro. And I mean, hey, kids are going to love it. It's space. It's a game. So yeah, thanks for popping by. There we go. Now, oh, meteor storms been a bit quiet. They always seem to come from the sun. Apparently that's another thing that's just gotten fixed in the latest minor patch fix. These guns should no longer start shooting up my solar panels. The guns are now subgrid aware, so they shouldn't actually try shooting at something through there and damaging everything. So far that seems to be working fine. Oh, and another meteor storm, just speak of the devil. Too far away for the guns? Ooh, nice impact, but honestly, that must be too far away. good impacts. Cool. Now, grinding pit. Rex. That's right. Let's go and 6, 3 and launch. Let's go and find, where's that wreck? Somewhere over there, isn't it? Okay. Is there big enough items here to pick up? Oh yes there is. Look at that. We've got some, oh we've got all 3 pieces, 2 nacelles and a central core. And it's steaming. Well, sorry, smoking. Has nobody told you that smoking is bad? I think we should actually fix that. We will stop you smoking in a second. Give me a bit of this. There we go. Now, we want you to lock on. There we go. Much better. We have you locked. Yay! Mr. Grinding Pit, where are you now? Ooh, we've got magnesium up here. Ah, meteor impacts. And if you notice, I was just saying before about platinum, how you don't find it on planets. Well, before we head back to base, I'm actually going to just stop here a second. Because as you notice on my screen right there, is it says that there is a deposit of platinum right here. Now that has come from an asteroid. Oh, look at that. That has come from an asteroid. And that is really nice stuff to have. Don't think it's going to be enough to get us any decent thrusters, and besides which, ion thrusters are actually useless within an atmospheric gravity well. They don't have the power. Come on. They don't have much success fighting against gravity. They're only good for really in space. But having some platinum allows us to build a ship, hydrogen to get us into space, but we can also potentially include some ion thrusters and make it a multifunctional ship. Even... oh, where'd it go? What? That's it? No, it says there's still more here somewhere. I think we've actually... alas, I think we have actually depleted this little tiny find. Oh, that's right. That's quite alright. So yes, we can make a nice multifunctional ship then. It's got hydrogen thrusters that allows us to make planetfall. Potentially even some atmospheric thrusters so they can move around on the planet. But at the same time we can potentially include some ion thrusters maybe. So we can actually function in space rather than having to build an additional ship. Or retrofitting the actual ship later once we get it into space. And at least our Gatlings are doing a good job of taking care of those. Of course, there's no problem with retrofitting a ship once we get it into space. I've done it many times myself, especially if you plan for it. It makes it much easier if you actually do plan for it and have allocated space, or at least design it such that there's room to be able to put ion thrusters on it once you get into space. There's nothing worse than having to dismantle 3/4 of your ship just to be able to add new thrusters, or to have to build a whole new ship, because in a survival game like this, that's resource hungry, and we're wanting to try and minimise our expenditure of resources if we can. At least until we've got more than what we know what to do with. Once we get to that point, then hey, we can build all the ships we like, and we can tear them apart and put them back together again as many times as we want. But for now, our resources are severely limited, and we want to economise on. I hope they didn't break anything down there. Yeah, we want to economise on our usage of those resources to make our game the most efficient we can. Okay, let's go back and get another part of this. In fact, but looking at the time, this is probably going to be the finish of our stream. We'll just finish getting this rest of this drone scrap. Come back here. Ooh. And we'll go and throw it in our big mighty grinder pit over there, and let the grinder pit chew on it for a little bit. I think that should be at least entertaining to watch. I'll stop you drifting. So one thing. There we go. Now, for anybody else who was making note of the conversation I was having with Gio Watson before about my own survival game in the same Calizari system. I'm playing a separate survival game, just myself, and then I'm building this huge big elevator tower thing up into space. I can't take credit for that. I actually watched a video from another space engineer that goes by the name of EP5. He was doing exactly the same thing. In fact, the video I first came across was he had found a height limit glitch. Namely, he got up to a certain height and he couldn't actually build anything more after that. The game wouldn't let him. He found that each individual grid, and that's what we build here, is grids or platforms. There we go, got it. Has got set limits, and he'd found a height limit on one that I don't think any of us really was aware that there was actual limit to the actual height. However, watching his video and what he was doing there did inspire me to actually build something similar, and I even made use of some of the same tools he did when it came to writing the scripts for automation and so on. The site in question, which I can't remember exactly it's a visual scripting site for space engineers. I can't remember the actual name of it off the top of my head. It is very nice for actually writing in-game scripts. Trust me, I know I have written my own scripts from scratch, but it was also very, very relaxing to be able to just point and click and define a few basic logic laws, utilising some of the equipment within the game, and having it generate a script that actually just worked. And it did, it compiled fine first go, worked fine first go. A lot of fun doing it that way. But it was also just a challenge of being able to build something that would actually automated, could function without even me being in attendance, just keep building as long as I kept supplying resources to it, and it certainly does that very nicely. And I do thank EP5 for the inspiration behind doing it. if you ever get the opportunity, check out YouTube, do a search for Epic Tech, EPIKTEK, I think it is. It's shocking, I don't even remember. But I know Epic is EPIK, is Epic. Check out his YouTube videos. He's got some really cool games that he's been playing. He's like me, he just likes the genre and likes playing, just playing for play's sake. And his series, his Tower series, his Survival series, all that sort of stuff, they're well and truly worth watching in my opinion. So yeah, there's a nice shameless plug for you, Epic Tech. But hey, I don't mind. I'll plug anybody who I watch. Sage, for example, Ecto Sage. Watch a lot of his videos. Aaron from Last Stand Games. Watch a lot of his videos. Very amusing gentleman. I like some of their survival games, some of their streams, some of their videos. Well, I watch quite a lot of them actually. I do have them, do receive notifications, and I find that the more sources of inspiration, the better. So anyway, let's just grab this last piece and we'll go and turn on our jaws of death. There we go. Overshoot. It helps if we actually get lined up on it, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, somewhere there it is. Okay, why am I seeing Refinery 1? I didn't set you to display in HUD.
Seriously, woman. No, 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 no.
Obviously I flagged Refinery 1 to display in HUD. Well, we better turn you off because you're cluttering up my display. I hope our grinding pit can handle all three of these elements, these components, or scrap pieces all at once, but we're about to find that out, aren't we? Kind of half expected to blow up in my face actually, but hey, that could be fun too. Yep, here we go. Now I've been thinking about the fact that it does throw things out. And I think we might have to do something about that. We don't really want it to throw everything out, or even throw any of it out, because I don't want to go hunting it down. So, I don't know. I've got any sort of permanent fix unless I create a hinged lid with a rotor and have it so that we can close it over, or even a rotating one so it slides out of the way. But for now, I think, there we go, I think I'll just go and seal the top. Okay, let's just jump back down here. I'm just going to seal the top with some block frameworks. If nothing else, it should just deflect everything back in. Yeah, you can go in there. And refinery. 1, don't show, thank you. So let's just temporarily seal you. There's a good chance it's just going to rip these to shreds when it tries to kick everything out, and we'll have to grind them off later. But for now, that should seal it, and the only way that they can come out is through our doorway. So, we shall stand back, shan't we? So far, so good. Certainly throwing some... Hey! What did I say? It hurled it out the doorway at us. I wonder if Keen's got a little script in there that says, if there's an open entryway and something is moving at high projectile, aim at the player. I mean, I know they don't. It's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek little jab that it always seems to target the player, but I suppose we are looking at what's going on through the only accessible exit. Is that finished yet? Sounding like it's finished. A couple of bits of stuff down there. Okay, so there is a couple of little pieces. There's that. Piece of scrap. That. Which I can't pick up. Great. There's another piece up there. A piece of scrap over there. Yeah, we're full. Let's just go and empty ourselves. Fortunately, we have a nice little container right here that it'll pull everything into. Oh, hang on. Oh, okay, it did a little bit of damage here. It's the only damage I can see. Some scrap that slipped down the sides. Other than that, that's pretty good. Well, let's just clear our roof because we will need to be able to access this again. Alright. Well, that certainly stopped it all kicking out, and there is a bit more damage just there. Look at that. Oh, that took quite a bit of damage. These are heavy armour blocks too, by the way, if you recall. So they must have withstood pretty hefty impacts for them to distort quite like that. But nothing a little bit of welding can't fix. Okay. Well, that's it for this episode. I think we did pretty good. We hobbled our pirate over here. We'll need to go and actually finish that off probably next episode. We salvaged our scrap. Let me just... not that. We want to go into that. Let's just get rid of our drone salvage. We don't need that anymore. We established a new mine. And we also picked up some platinum. So that was a nice little windfall from our meteor storms. So we'll leave it there at this stage. Thank you for joining me in this stream, and I look forward to talking and showing you our survival game in Calizari system tomorrow. So thank you for stopping by.